Hello, I'm Steven, the calculator guy, and I got a pop filter by popular demand. So hopefully now when I say things like pool or popular or pop filter, it won't be abrasive on your guys' ears. Fingers crossed. So I created a gluten-free node calculator. Now this is a bit of tongue-in-cheek because recently David Moss called all of these ring and ring forks gluten-free node protocols. That's because whereas Strong has like engineers who set up and maintain nodes, these protocols I believe rely on a basket of high yield generating assets. So they're like missing the physical substance, but they still have theoretically they still have a treasury of high yield bearing assets that is assisting them with their sustainability. So I think that they're interesting. Full disclosure, I'm not invested in any of these protocols, ring or ring forks. The team at Brig did gift me a node yesterday, and then I promptly gave that away. So I don't have any of these nodes. I'm not invested in any of these nodes, and I have done very, very limited research on these nodes. And that may come through on some of the ways that I designed this calculator. For example, I didn't include any place for you to add a tax, which I was informed about earlier today. So I didn't know that, for example, like Ring has a 10% tax, and some of the other ones have like a 25% tax that needs to be considered. So I'm going to try to learn more about that so I can factor that in to these calculations, or allow for you to factor that into the calculations. Which is a bummer because, I get everything nice and just the way I like it, and then of course there's another variable that needs to be considered. So, bummer. But that's okay. So this is a modular ring and ring fork calculator. So it's not just for any one of these protocols. And so I'm going to show you how to use it so that you can literally do any of these protocols with this one. It's sort of like the AnyDAO calculator. I wanted you to be able to take this calculator and use it for any of these protocols easily. I didn't want you guys to rely on a number of different calculators. I want you guys to have a robust set of tools that you can use, right? So if you had just the AnyDAO calculator plus just the now gluten-free node calculator, like you could calculate for so many different protocols. And so like that's sort of my my idea of what I'm trying to build here. All right, let's get into it. So the protocol details, probably where I would start. These you can edit. So if you change the protocol name, then all that really does is change the name up here. So like if you did, for example, Brig, and Brig is the only one that's not finance. Brig is, or financial. Brig is Brig Finance. You could do the token, so you can see up there it changed the name. If you change this to Brig, bah humbug, there we go. So you see all of the token symbols in the headings have now changed to Brig. And then you want to get the CoinGecko link. Well, I already have it here, so if you want to just go down and copy it, Control-C. What you want to do when you paste it is Control-Shift-V. So what that does is it just pastes the text. It doesn't paste the format, so you won't eat away the wall or the barrier to the right. See, Control-Shift-V. And then what you'll notice is the live price is updated. So now we're getting the live price of Brig instead of the live price of Thor. So once you have all that, you can choose to either use the live price or the manual price. People often ask me with the ohm calculators, like, what does manual price mean? And it's pretty simple. The manual price just means like if you want to type in the price by yourself, for a speculative reason. So maybe you think the price of Brig is going to be $200 and you wanted to speculate on what kind of returns you would see like at that sort of investment. So you can do that, right? $200, and then you can take off the live prices, and all of your fiat generated numbers are now based off this 200 rather than the live price of 87.05. Okay, so now that we've finished the product details, we can jump over to the basic inputs. And basic inputs are exactly what they sound like. As a reminder, fly. Oh, I feel bad. Okay. Well, with the basic, as a reminder, all of the blue things are inputs and all the green things are outputs, automatically generated. So blue, edit. Green, don't touch. Blue, editable. Green, automatically generated. So number of nodes, let's just say you have 8 for this example. I know that there was a few like events, I guess you'll call them, where people could get nodes for 7 tokens for like a few of these protocols. Okay, fine. Change it as you will. Base rewards per day. So if we're doing Brig, you can go down here to rewards per day and type in this number. Again, I've heard that there is a tax. If there is, like, let me just show you how to calculate this math, right? It's easier probably for you if you have it in this cell down here in F29. That way for future reference you can use it. Let's just say there's a 25% tax. So 0.25, right? Take the number 1, subtract 0.25. What do you get? You get 0.75. So you multiply 0.75 times this number, and what you're going to get is this with a 25% tax taken off of it. So 0.75 multiplied by that number, put an equal sign before it, and so that's what you get with the tax not considered. Now I don't know how the tax works, so I'm going to take that away. And I'll let you guys do that. And then I will, throw something in here to where you can use the tax. I just don't know where to put it because everything is so nice and neat. The struggles of a calculator maker. Anywho, the base rewards per day goes here. The manual price of brigs can go here if you want to use a manual price. And then the current brig claimable. This I was, it was simple to add, but I'm kind of proud of this. So what this does effectively is it allows you to get more accurate estimations with the compounding and also with just your targets, your node target, date target, fiat target, brig target, because it accounts for the fact that you may already have claimable brig or tokens in your protocol, which is pretty cool, I think. So like if you had 9, right, it's only going to take you 0.2 days to get to 10. That's awesome, I think, in my opinion. I know it's, small things. But I feel like this is a feature that I should have had in the Strong Calculator, but the Strong Calculator was the very first calculator that I ever made. So there were a lot of things that were not optimized on that calculator, in my opinion. So when I'm going to show you under the hood real quick. When I did the under the hood this time, it's just like so much more intuitive, in my opinion. And like it makes sense, and the math was super easy to do this time because I've been working on so many other calculators that now these things are sort of streamlined in my mind. And it was kind of a breath of fresh air to redo this process with the new protocol. Okay, so we've done the inputs, right? Let's go look at the outputs. And there's really only like 3 chunks of outputs. The first one is the earnings projections. So if you've dealt with my ohm calculators before, you've probably seen these or seen something like this. Again, this is blue, so these are editable. Just a fantastic word to say. And you can choose how many days, weeks, months, or years you'd like to focus on or project. So if you wanted to do 2 weeks, there you go, 2 weeks, and how much you would generate in 2 weeks. 1 week, it halves. And this is based off of the number of nodes and the base rewards per day. It's a super simple function. The fiat generated is literally just the brig generated or the token generated times the price. And if you click on live prices, it's going to use the live price. If you unclick, it's going to use the manual price. Super, super simple. So that's all that is. Then you can go down to the goal targets calculator. And I can't imagine any reason why you wouldn't compound. But you can choose to compound or not to compound if you want to. So let's just assume you have 1. Let's go for like a larger node target so you see the difference between compounding and not compounding. Let's say you want 21 nodes, right? So minimum days to 21 nodes would be 20.4. If you're not compounding, if you are compounding, 12 days. So a week less. So that's just something to consider, right? Compounding is generally better. Anyone who comes from strong block or even SRX would know. Whole can of worms over there. But if you come from any of those protocols, or if you ohm as well, you would just know the power of compounding. It becomes exponential. We actually look at that over here if we wanted to, where if you look at the days to next node, right? It goes well, if you look at days rounded down, you realize that you get your next node after a day, after 2 days, 1 day, and then like eventually you're getting 2 nodes per day, 2 nodes per day. And then if you scroll down, you're going to get 3 nodes per day, 4 nodes per day, 5 nodes per day, and then it's going to ramp up a lot to where, you know, at some point you're getting like 10 nodes per day. And that's a month in that you're getting 10 nodes per day. So, you know, compounding is a very powerful tool. So I'm going to go back and hide those. All right. So the node target, you just set your node target and tells you how many days it would take you to get there if you were compounding your nodes. Now this says minimum days, 21 nodes, and that's important. The reason it says minimum days is because this is assuming that you compound the moment that you have enough token to create the next node. And now I know that's, you know, it's not realistic, but it was much easier math for me. There is a mathematical way that I can allow you to put a different number than 10. Like maybe you compound every 11 tokens you get. But I imagine for most people in reality, like you're going to create a new node every 10 point something, or sometimes it'll be 12 that you collected, or sometimes it'll be 13 or 11. And so, you know, allowing you to have a variable number that you enter is really not going to give you much more accurate projections unless like you're going to be super strict with the number 11 but not strict with the number 10. So I just said this is the minimum number of days that you can achieve 21 nodes. Conversely, the maximum nodes ownable in 21 days. So what this means is if you compound like exactly on the dot, here's the maximum number of nodes you could own by this date. Super simple to understand, hopefully. Now, future, this is like your targets. I put a future price here because I imagine that you guys may want to think of like what ifs in the future. I don't think I need this technically because you could just change this price if you wanted to, and it would function the same way this does. But I kept it in the calculator just because it feels like something you may be thinking about when dealing with this corner. If I think of something better to go there, I may put that instead. So target, super simple. It's just like your fiat target, and then the days to target would be this. Now keep in mind, compounding plays no role here. This assumes strictly that you have 8 nodes in this situation and that you're just collecting those rewards and cashing them out. Not a single new node ever created. Because if you were compounding, then you would never actually achieve any fiat target, even a single penny. Because compounding assumes that you're making more nodes as soon as you can. There's no profit taking involved. And so I could, and I may in the future, create a way for you to say, well, I want to take 50% of my profits and compound another 50%. That is a bit more difficult to do, but totally possible. And if I want to build this bigger, then I may. However, that's going to take a lot of time, and time is everything, right? Time is time with my kids, with my wife, for researching. It's for answering questions on the Discord, doing Patreon stuff. So a lot of these calculators are sort of quick pop-ups that I hope help people do basic projections and sort of, you know, fun speculation. The more robust I make them, the more time, and I'm trying to make all of my future calculators free. I've already released this one on Twitter. Patreon was released first, then Discord, and then Twitter. That's sort of the way these things go. And so if I want to continue to make these things free, I can't spend like forever on them. And if I do, then I'm probably gonna have to charge because, you know, that's a lot of my time. But for now, you know, I want to keep all my future calculators free, God willing. Or, you know, for donations. I like doing that too. So brig target. This is like how many days until you reach 100 brig if you were just not compounding and just waiting, just accruing your brig earned over time. And so there you go. And that's it, guys. That's pretty much a total overview of this. What I do want to show you is the fancy calculator because, you know, I'm selfishly a bit proud of it because I added a new feature which I haven't had on any of my other calculators. So you can click this drop down and click any of these 3 protocols because they have CoinGecko sites. And what it will do is it'll change the base rewards per day to whatever this says. it will edit all these things. So you can just, drop down, see how it changes the name up here. I think that's really cool. For me as a calculator creator, that made me happy and feel warm and fuzzy inside. So you can use a fancy one. The only thing is you're limited to these 3 protocols because you can't change anything here. If you want to do Nodeon or Katana or Samurai, Katana, whatever, then you would use this one and enter in those stats manually. Unfortunately, I can't pull the Katana live price because they don't have a CoinGecko. There's been a bunch of news about these protocols. Apparently, there were some exploits, but they may have fixed those exploits. So, again, I am not invested in any of these protocols. So, not only is this not financial advice, I wouldn't even know what to advise. So I'm just here to make calculators and to make your speculation a little bit more fun for you guys. So if you want access to these videos, if you want access to these tools earlier than anyone else, then please join my Patreon. You also get access to me, so I'll answer your questions within 24 to 48 hours. You can talk to me. You'll see some of my posts that I post there. So we talked about a few of the tomb forks up and coming, some of the ones that haven't even launched yet. But it's so we do some stuff there. That's it. Thank you all so much for watching. Oh man, forgot my glasses. And have a wonderful rest of your day.